Hey everyone! I thought it would be fun to show off my E3 bingo card. You see, every Direct, every E3, whenever they come around, so many Nintendo fans make a bingo card guessing what will happen in the Direct, or what will happen in the E3 presentation. And today I thought it would be fun to go through mine, point by point, to see what's actually there, since E3 will be in a few hours, and then after E3 to make a new video to see what I got right, what I got wrong, and how self-centered my bingo card is, because you know I'm going to put way too much Fire Emblem and Pikmin, and only like one of those things is going to come true, if I'm lucky. But anyway, without stalling too much, let's get into it. Alright, so my first entry on my bingo card is a new 2D Metroid title. I think in some form we're probably going to get one of these eventually, right? I mean, the series hasn't had a new proper 2D entry. I mean, Samus Returns, yeah, I get that. That was a fantastic remake. It brought in so many people. So it hasn't had one since 3DS, I guess, and that was a fantastic game. So I'd be very on board with just seeing that studio make a new one. That being said, Metroid, Metroid 4, Metroid Fusion, was on Game Boy Advance. So we haven't seen a proper, I guess, 2D Metroid follow-up to that, so I'd love to see that. Or another remake, like, that's cool too. A Super Metroid remake could be really neat. Alright, next, I think this one's kind of inevitable when you think about it. I think we're gonna get some Splatoon 3 news. I mean, it was shown off at the last Direct, and people went wild for it, and I think it was teased, rather, at the last Direct, more or less. I would like to see more content to see what Splatoon 3 is actually gonna do differently than the first two games. It is the 20th anniversary of Pikmin. I really hope we get to see Pikmin content in some form, because announcing it now would mean it would get to release around the time of the 20th anniversary, if I remember correctly. I mean, or at least, you know, it's the 20th anniversary year, you could show something off. I just want to see new Pikmin content. I mean, this shouldn't surprise anyone. That being said, could we see Pikmin 4? Maybe. I mean, we've already had a mobile app announced, Pikmin 3 Deluxe announced. I mean, this could just be icing on the cake for Pikmin 4. That being said, I am not getting my hopes up for Pikmin 4. It's the holy grail, the elusive game. Alright, this next one is slightly contradictory to a video I made before, but I've come around to this idea a lot in the last couple months. I really think we could see a Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War remake. Thinking about the systems in place in previous Fire Emblem games, I think it'd be the perfect game to remake. I don't think it's the most likely remake, but I think it's the game that's most deserving of a remake in the series, especially right now. You could make the Grand Army combat have like the battalion mechanics of Three Houses. We could bring back the map sprites, because I'm not sure the 3D models on the map would actually make sense given the scale of Genealogy of the Holy War. The marriage system being popular in recent Fire Emblem games would make Genealogy shine in a way that even Shadows of Valentia didn't do, and doing any game in the style of Shadows of Valentia with maybe that same art style, or at least that same amount of care, polish, and attention to aesthetic would make it excel. So I think Genealogy would be a great remake, and I would love to see it shown off at E3. It could either be a 1,000-Year Door, it could be the original Paper Mario, some sort of Paper Mario remake. I think it's likely at this point. It would allow the fans to have the new art style that they like from Origami King, especially a lot of the new fans will get new content this way too. Old fans will be satiated, because it's not like they're going to turn this into a different style of game with weird circular rotating combat. So they'll be satiated, and new fans will be like, yeah, new Paper Mario, cool. Because it's not like most people have played the original Paper Mario. A 1,000-Year Door, I could see it, but there's so many Paper Mario fans, even 1,000-Year Door fans, that have never touched the original, and I think this would be a great time to remake it. That being said, for all I know, it could be a Super Paper Mario remake, or no game at all, but I really think a 1,000-Year Door or a original Paper Mario remake would be perfect right now. Breath of the Wild 2. I wanted to say it like that. Seriously though, I think this is highly likely. They already said to hold off a bit with the last Nintendo Direct, and I truly believe that this game would have been a big title, potentially even last year, without delays from everything. It's all the factors that go into making games, plus the world. So I think there's a good chance it gets shown off and is the big holiday title for this year, which is great. Breath of the Wild was really lovely. I know a lot of people love that game. I would love if this game was slightly more linear or slightly different, in the same way Majora's Mask is drastically different from Ocarina of Time while still being very similar. That's what I want to see. But we will, only time will tell. And either way, we're getting Skyward Sword, so I'm excited. I love Skyward Sword. I know that's a bit of a rough opinion, but I'll do a video on it eventually, I think. I think it's the perfect Zelda game for people who are new to Zelda, Skyward Sword. But that's irrelevant. Breath of the Wild 2. We're probably going to see it, hopefully. It's on my card, so I sure hope so. Fire Emblem 9 Remake. Ike's really popular. I think the game has a good chance of being remade. I don't think it's as high as Fire Emblem 6, and at this point, I don't even think it's as high as Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy of the Holy War, but it would be easy to do somewhat of a, well, maybe not easy, but it would be possible to do some sort of enhanced HD version of the original game and do a, not necessarily low effort, but faster remake of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I also think it'd be good to capitalize on the Three Houses kind of style. It could even potentially be made in the Three Houses engine, where you can wander around the base and explore like the monastery, and you could have this base be just built on each of the past maps or whatnot. I also, I think Genealogy of the Holy War could use this system, where you traverse each of the castles like a little mini monastery, kind of like the dungeons in Shadows of Valentia. But I think if they were to do a full like remake Echo style, Path of Radiance could use a system like that. If they didn't go with a full remake Echo style and it was just an HD port, well, we know what we're getting: a very exceptional Fire Emblem game with, well, a hefty price tag at this point that people will actually be able to play now. Plus, Ike's very popular. People want to play the game for Ike. We like Ike. So yeah, there we go. New IP, give me something weird. Splatoon, that was weird. I liked it. ARMS, weird, cool. I'm on board with it. I like the old Nintendo franchises, but you never know when a game's going to be the next Pikmin, right? I want to see something new, and I'd be excited to see something new and to try it out. I mean, Game Maker Garage, I think that's what that's called. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks really cool. That's a new IP. I like it. Go ahead. Give me something new. Alright. A 3DS game ported for Switch. We already saw this with Miitopia. I'd love to see it with maybe Shadows of Valentia, Fire Emblem Awakening, the Fire Emblem Fates trilogy. Okay, maybe more than just Fire Emblem 2. I don't think like Hey Pikmin or anything like that's likely, but it'd be interesting to see a Kid Icarus Uprising port. Actually, that's kind of the port I want most. I think that's most likely. We could also see games from the end of the Switch's life, or excuse me, the 3DS's lifespan get a new chance on Switch, since both consoles were out, and I will actually point to Shadows of Valentia now. That's a legitimately good option for that game. So, we'll see. And speaking of a Kid Icarus game, please, Sakurai, please. Okay, in all seriousness, I do expect this to inevitably happen, but not until Sakurai is done with the Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. So I don't actually think this will be on this E3, but it's wishful thinking, and I will put this on here because I loved Kid Icarus Uprising. It was an incredible game. I would love to see it ported or a follow-up. I honestly think what's more likely is a port, and I will count that for this bingo square because I just want to see Kid Icarus content. It was lovely. Honestly, the reason I didn't fall into like a deep post-game hole after playing Kid Icarus Uprising was because immediately after I got into Fire Emblem Awakening. Oh my gosh, that's so long ago. But yeah, Kid Icarus content, please. Alright, so I'm not crazy into the Donkey Kong franchise, but I know people who are. My dad really likes the games, for example. And I know that this has been leaked and rumored that there's going to be some sort of open 3D Donkey Kong, not a Donkey Kong Country game, but some other sort of Donkey Kong game potentially made in-house, potentially by the Odyssey team. I really haven't been paying too much attention to the remakes the rumors, because again, I am not a crazy huge Donkey Kong fan, but I think that there's a chance it'll show up, and I'd like to have at least, my list not be entirely Fire Emblem, Pikmin, and Kid Icarus. Some sort of Animal Crossing content. Animal Crossing blew up last year. It's become huge. it's great. New Horizons is great. I honestly think if they showed off some content that they wanted to add to the game this E3, people would be excited about it. I think it's a good match. So yeah, some sort of, maybe it's new items, maybe it's, you know, a new expansion-y little thing. I don't want DLC, mind you. I think free DLC, great. Paid DLC for Animal Crossing is kind of weird. Tom Nook wants your real money now, but yeah, I'm okay with this. I want Animal Crossing content. A free space because they already said they're showing off software. A new game is revealed. I mean, if this is wrong, then I will have no words because I will have watched 40 minutes of Direct and then 3 hours of Treehouse footage with no games. That sounds miserable. It's inevitable. At least one Smash Bros. Fighter is being shown off. I'm not even going to elaborate too much on this point because what is there to say? We know it's going to happen. If it's not going to happen, then they're not going to fit their DLC goals. They're not going to actually, you know, reach what they want to do with this DLC Fighters Pass. And the time frame will be all funky, which is fair. I get the world's a crazy place. Things have happened, but I think it's inevitable and it's important for building hype. Switch Pro reveal. I actually think this is going to be one of the most unlikely things on this list, considering they said they were showing off software for 40 minutes, not hardware. They specified software. But maybe that's just me reading too much into things. Either way, this has been rumored like crazy, and I think it's inevitable that at some point, Nintendo has at least considered and potentially even put into development this new this new hardware. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling from reading all of the leaks and everything that it's kind of gonna happen eventually, and it may not even be called the Switch Pro. It might be, you know, the Super Nintendo Switch. I don't care. I just hope it's cool. A new original Fire Emblem game, not a remake. Three Houses blew everyone's mind, and I really think that Nintendo has been on a crazy uphill trajectory with their new Fire Emblem games. I think Awakening, great. Fates has its problems, fantastic games. I think Three Houses, though, blows everything out of the water in terms of scale, and knowing how successful that game is, given its scope, a new Fire Emblem game, I would just love to see where the series goes from there. That being said, I don't think we're going to see this for a couple years. I think they're going to be developing this for quite a bit more time, trying to give it the time and effort it needs, just like with Three Houses. Given that game's status and reverence in the fandom, I really think that a new Fire Emblem game could blow it out of the water. That being said, I think that's why we're going to get an Echoes game in between, because it will stall for the development of this game while still bringing in funds and new fans and old fans alike. No Pikmin content of any form. It's sad, but it's absurdly likely given Nintendo's track record. I mean, I've been wanting to see Pikmin stuff in E3 since I last saw Pikmin stuff in E3. since the Pikmin 3 reveal. Oh, wow, that was a long time ago. That was still when you had the dream team of Reggie, Miyamoto, Iwata, all there. Jeez, time flies. An old franchise is revived. Maybe this is F-Zero. Maybe this is Switch Sports. I don't know, but I'd love to see it. I'm really hoping. I'll tell you what, Nintendo loves their Warriors spin-offs. Fire Emblem Warriors, Hyrule Warriors. What's next? Super Mario Warriors, where Mario has Cappy and he spins it in a circle and takes out like 70 Goombas at once? I don't know, but I'd love to see that. Three Houses content of any form. After seeing that weird bit of Three Houses footage that we still don't know what it's from, I wouldn't be shocked if this is a Warriors remake, or a Warriors game, or some sort of enhanced Three Houses collection, kind of like Persona 5R. It's been a couple years, so I could see it. Or just new Three Houses content. Honestly, if it weren't for that footage, I wouldn't have put this on this list, but that was so weird, the Tea Time Conversation footage that had different models for the characters, that even if it's something small, I really expect to see something at this point. I think this one's self-explanatory, just a new spin-off. And by this, I don't mean like Mario Party number the next one. I mean we've not seen this kind of spin-off before. Like when Mario Maker came out of the blue and everyone was like, wow, that's crazy new. Like a Pikmin Maker, or a Zelda Maker, or, you know, something like that. Like, or, you know, a Warriors game, but not a Warriors game. I mean, if it's a Warriors game for like a new franchise that hasn't had one yet, like a Kid Icarus Warriors, cool. But something new, not an iterative spin-off. And this goes for first, second party, whatever. Pokemon Legends Arceus content being shown off. Honestly, I think this is likely. The game was shown off, it was teased, it looks neat, but, you know, we don't know enough about it, so now's the time, Nintendo, now's the time. And if Nintendo shows off the Switch Pro, perhaps that's what the game's optimized for, and the game will run better, will have better specs, and it would be the best way to show it off going forward. I don't know. I can't make the promise that that console even exists. Pikmin 4. Please, Nintendo. It's the holy grail. It's all I've ever wanted, but in all seriousness, it's been so many years since the last mainline Pikmin game. Pikmin 3 Deluxe was lovely, the new content was great, but I long to have a new Pikmin campaign where I explore a world that is from the perspective of a one-inch creature and have to collect things and just... I remember going through the Garden of Hope for the first time in Pikmin 3 and just realizing that I'm exploring a new Pikmin world and having, like, the biggest nostalgia bomb I've ever had. I want that. I want that with Pikmin 4, so my only hopes for Pikmin 4 is that it exists and that it's good, which is something I've heard echoed a lot in the community. I'm probably echoing someone else by saying that. And while I'm here with unreasonable expectations, I want to see a Pikmin 1 and a Pikmin 2 remake together. I think there's a possibility it could happen, and they could be separate remakes too. I just want Pikmin. I would love an HD remake in the style of Pikmin 3 of 1 and 2. I think it would make 2 in particular shine much better, because 2's caves could be given a lot of attention in making them unique in HD and having more parts, and it'd be beautiful. I'd be so happy. That being said, I think this is unlikely. I think if anything, we'll be getting Pikmin 4, but I'd love to see it. So I'm putting it on this list because I'm self-centered and want to be happy. Finally, Metroid Prime content. Honestly, this nearly didn't make the list, but given the rumors of a trilogy remake and the fact that Metroid Prime 4 is announced, even though it's been kind of axed, kind of not in development, you know, the abyss of development, I really think there's a chance it could show up, and there's a chance it just will never be mentioned again for, 4 years, and then we'll see it. So I put it on this list, but I don't know if it will be announced as a big heavy hitter. I mean, we have Breath of the Wild 2, and that kind of is, I think, a game that's going to be the focal point of this E3. So I'm not sure if Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid Prime 4, if it's really the right time to show both of those games off. But I wanted to put it here anyway, because I wanted to cover my bases, because if I didn't put it here, it will, it'll probably show up, and I'll be wrong. That being said, I probably shouldn't put it here, right? So that way it shows up. But anyway, that is my list, my bingo, and I'm very, very, very excited for E3 in only a handful of hours. I am going to, real quick, put this video together now and publish it, and then after E3, after I'm done screaming, because I will be screaming, it's going to be exciting, I will put together a follow-up in a couple days, and we will see what I got right, what I got wrong. Now, if Fire Emblem 6 or 9 are shown off, I want to do or Pikmin 4, I guess. I will do a comparison to my previous videos on those topics and see what I got right and what I got wrong based on the trailers, and then start to do some analysis and prediction, because I love that stuff. And I hope you love it too. So anyway, without stalling for any more, because I know that this video is going to be a nightmare to watch if it goes any longer, and there's only so much time before E3, so I will stop rambling and end things here. My name is Vantage Emblem. Thank you for listening to me. Have fun at E3, and if you're watching after E3 and just want to see how wrong I am, cool. That's neat. Anyway, take care all, and have a good day.